Hey there, just wanted to say thank you all for your patience now that I'm back to recording my videos and back to doing the work the Lord has led me to do, move my heart to do. Just to give you backstory, if you're unfamiliar with what was going on with me, my nephew was tragically killed, and that really affected me because it was sudden, unexpected, and just really traumatic. And so I took some time off. I had to grieve, cope, go through that process. And thank you all for your condolences, everyone who was out there praying for me, sending me love and comfort. I really do appreciate it. All the fellow watchmen that's out there. And as I was coping, I realized, man, I'm really tired. 12 years of doing this consistently. Um, you really never know how tired you are. And I took some extra time off to really just recharge my batteries and rejuvenate and get more clarity, more focus on Jesus, more focus on the things that's happening in the times today. So that way I can be able to serve you all refreshed, revived, re-strengthened, and strengthened better to serve you in the manner which is acceptable to Jesus Christ. And there's a lot to talk about. We see the things that's happening in the world that I'm going to cover. As I mentioned before, if you noticed, when I was telling you in September how everyone was looking for the rapture, which didn't happen, I was saying look for the celestial moons to follow this pattern of the white horse, red horse, black horse, green horse. And it's so strange that during that time period, which I suspected would be a total speculation, maybe this is what Pope Francis will resurrect. But throughout the world during that week, during that time, there was a growing movement of people protesting what's happening in Israel and standing up for Palestine, waving the white, red, black, green flag. Which, if you didn't know, the Palestinian flag is white, red, black, and green. Which all the Arab flags in the Middle East derive from the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. The Jordanian royal flag is where other Arab states adopted. So where you see red, white, black, green, it comes from the Jordanian royal family flag. And around that time period, people were growing in support of Palestine carrying that red, white, black, green flag, which coincided with the white, red, black, green moons that was happening during that time period. I found that so interesting, September 7th to the 23rd. But so I just wanted to bring that up because we see again how it's very interesting how what's happening in Israel and how the whole world is really drawing a disdain and anger and hatred towards Israel. And it's ironic if you really think about it too, how what we see Israel doing to their neighbor with the genocide and destruction of their nation, their country, is almost parallel to what we will see the Antichrist do to them. So it's almost as if, you know how Jesus would say, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Do unto others as you want done unto you. So there is a law that the way you treat others is how you will be treated. Similar to the parable with Lazarus and the rich man, how Lazarus suffered and the rich man was in comfort. Then when they died, Lazarus was in Abraham's bosom in comfort, and then the rich man was tortured. So you see how what comes around goes around. And it's so surprising to see that I'm starting to think, man, I wonder if the judgment that God is going to allow to be rendered towards Israel with the rise of the Antichrist, who will be Prince Hassan bin Talal of Jordan, I come to wonder if he allows that because of what they did to their neighbor with regards to Palestine and the death and destruction that they're waging. I wonder if God is allowing the rise of the Antichrist to happen as judgment against them for what they did to their neighbor. Because Jesus said, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Unfortunately, what's being done to them, the Antichrist will eventually do to them. What Israel's doing to Palestine, the Antichrist will do to Israel. There's also, again, Prince Hassan bin Talal is still in the news. He's still advocating for peace in the Middle East. He's still a player on the board. He's not dead, so he's still on the board. Again, we're seeing how the Atlas One comet that everyone's talking about is definitely in the news. So that's something to think about. Will this be the way in which Pope Francis makes his reentry to change the topic of UFOs from science to religion? Possibly. Uh, we found that Congress is having more conversations and briefings on UFOs and the UFO disclosure. We see how the administration is doing so much to change the fabric of America with respect to ICE and soldiers being used towards civilians and being paid and letting partying criminals and destroying the White House without congressional approval. And so we see a lot of turmoil going on in the country that, again, as I wrote in my book, The Falling Away, something has to happen to America where it gets pulled off the chessboard and America's isolated, because that's the only bet, if you will, that Israel had, is that Israel is backed by the United States. And remember, presidents dictate foreign policy, so don't know what it will be, but something has to happen internally or externally where the president of the United States pulls funding or pulls support away from Israel. Now remember, the president recently bragged about having this ceasefire with Israel, which didn't last, and now Israel has gone back to killing Palestinians. I think it was 100, but after the ceasefire was just written. So, and the president really boasted about bringing peace and a ceasefire to Israel and Palestine, and now they're in conflict again. So I wonder if his patience could wear thin, and he's like, I'm done with Israel because they just won't stop. Remember, biblically speaking, God tells us time and time again that the Israelites are very stubborn individuals. As a culture, they're very stubborn, and God calls them stiff-necked. And notice when they killed the Messiah that Jesus even said to them, why would you want to stone me? Look at the works that I do. What is it that you want to stone me for? And if you don't believe me, believe the works that the Father has done, that you may believe that. But remember, the people said, we don't stone you because of the works, we stone you because you, being a man, claim to be God. So they're very, very stubborn individuals in terms of the culture. That's what God calls them, stiff-necked. So they're not going to change. The only thing that will stop the Jewish people or the government of Israel to hold on this genocide that's happened in Palestine is their third temple. That's what they want. They want their third temple, but they're bound by a treaty that will prevent them from doing that. They're bound by a treaty based off of what Prince Hassan bin Salah of Jordan wrote and signed with Israel in 1994, the Jordanian-Israeli Peace Treaty. So they won't go on the Temple Mount and claim it because it's in the treaty. They have a treaty with three groups: Kings of the East, by President Trump, brokered by President Trump; the Jordanian-Israeli Peace Treaty, brokered by President Clinton; and Egypt, brokered by President Jimmy Carter. So those are the three nations that Israel has a peace treaty with. One can only grant them the third temple, that's Jordan, and Pope Francis, or a pope, is the only one that can give them back their artifacts from the second temple. So that's the things we're going to cover moving forward. And other things I'm going to do too that I want to share. Oh, I also during my time off, to keep my mind occupied, I also redid my website too. Let me pull that up for you. So if you visit my website, therevelationwatchman.com, give you a tour of it real quick. If you're interested in visiting there, here we go. So when you go to revelationwatchman.com, here you'll see a new layout for my website. I really like it. I hope you guys do too. Let me zoom out a little bit more. There we go. So this is my new website, therevelationwatchman.com. A little bit cleaner. It's up to date. A lot more efficient in terms of things I can produce, post, write, engage, community, stuff like that. So I made some changes on here, and of course I have these new updates. So if anything that I'm going to post, for example, if it has to do with Prince Hassan bin Salaf Jordan or news updates or something that just happened, I could just post it here. You see it on the main page. Again, these are the different topics that I cover. This is, again, my book, if you haven't got it already, The Falling Away. It's about the rise, fall, and resurrection of Pope Francis, the prophesied false prophet, and how he will be the one to destroy the Vatican, aka the falling away. You see different other posts, other videos that I posted on other topics. And again, if you want to navigate to specific topics that I really explain and dive in on, such as the Antichrist news topics that's up, or things that are relevant to, or the things that are newsworthy that's outside of Antichrist and false prophet in the book of Revelation, this is where you can go. So that way, unlike YouTube, you got to navigate to find what you're looking for. Here, I try to make things very organized for you. So that way, if you want, news that's things that are newsworthy, topics specifically to Prince Hassan of Jordan, topics relevant to Pope Francis and his resurrection, or him as the false prophet, the Book of Revelation, Book of Enoch, UFOs, the Nephilims, fulfilled prophecies, unfulfilled prophecies we're waiting for, the groups. And this, again, if you want to join a group of watchmen that we're all anticipating the things that I'm talking about, or group engagement or questions, fellowship, this is where you can go and join the Watchman community. I think you would really like it if you wanted to ask some questions. If you have a question about a certain topic that I posted about and you want to engage on that, or you want to expand on that, you definitely could do so. So this is the Watchman tribe that we're all on the wall, watching as Jesus tells us to watch many times. Revelation 3:3, blessed are those. He said, therefore, repent and watch, for if you don't watch, I will come upon you as a thief. If you don't watch, Luke 12:37 talks about, blessed are those who watch when the master comes. The parable of the 5 wise and 5 unwise virgins, the ones who were watching, were ready when the groom came. Jesus talks about be at the door, stand at the door, watching, waiting for the master. So there's a lot of different things that Jesus talks about in terms of watch. So the Watchman tribe is where you can come to a group of people and watch with other like-minded watchmen, and we're all in it together. So there's a lot ahead, a lot I'm going to be working on, and I can't wait to get back to work and serve you all. I'm so excited to do so. Leave any comments that what you're looking forward to, what you want to talk about, and can't wait to see and talk to you and fellowship and serve you all. Take care and talk to you soon.